Hi everyone. Um, Welcome to the first episode of Messy, but moving forward. My name is Brittany, and I'm so glad you're here. Before I dive in, I wanted to let you know that I'm splitting this segment out into a couple different parts. First, I really want to share my story. Then I'll talk about a little bit about what happened with my marriage, the good, the bad, and then finally a short closing message that I really hope you guys get. So this first part, why I'm sharing my story. People always say, just write it in a journal. And yeah, I get that. Journaling can be incredibly helpful and very therapeutic. But for me, healing just isn't about writing to myself. It's about being seen. It's about sharing my story out loud. And honestly, I started feeling like I had power over my situation when I spoke out about it, when I was witnessed. That's when things began to shift. That's when I stopped feeling so alone. I've been through a lot. I've survived trauma. And I'm still learning how to live with that PTSD that came from previous relationships. But I'm not really here to play the victim. I'm here because I'm resilient. I don't let crap keep me down for long, even when life hands me those shitty hand of cards. I believe in moving forward with this in my mind. If you feel this too, you're not alone. And you deserve a space to heal. And that's what this vlog is about. A space for honesty, growth, and connection. A space where we can talk about the hard stuff and still find light. So if you're navigating your own healing or just trying to make sense of your story, welcome. You're not alone here. Okay, maybe you were a little bit alone for like a couple seconds when I got up. But now we're gonna head into part 2. What happened with my marriage. I've been doing a lot of reflecting lately, and something hit me pretty hard. 9 jobs in 8 years. That's how many my husband went through. And every time I was the one pushing him to work, to contribute, to show up for life. That's not healthy. That's a red flag. But of course I overlooked it because I loved him. I didn't just support him emotionally, I carried the weight of his life. I made his appointments. I fixed his resume. I sent it out. I secured jobs for him. I transported him to those jobs sometimes. A lot more than sometimes. I even went to medical appointments with him. I did everything I could to help him succeed because I believed in him and I wanted us to grow together. But the truth is, I was doing all the work. And he was doing none of it. He'd quit jobs at the drop of a hat. He'd lie to me, deceive me, and then he cheated on me. And I still held on. I kept hoping he'd change. That he'd finally show up for our relationship the way I was showing up for him. Eventually, I realized I was completely burnt out. And that's like the opposite of how it usually is, because my schoolwork and my job became the only safe spaces for me. I neglected everything else in my life except for my animals, because those were the only ones that were making me feel loved and needed and respected. Almost a year after he cheated on me, I looked around and realized he hadn't changed at all. He had promised me all of these things. Oh, I'll start working on myself. I'll get therapy. I'll start taking my medications. I'll go to treatment. I'll start getting chiropractic appointments for my back pain so that I can show up more. He didn't do any of that. He had promised he would work on himself and our relationship, and in that time he had fallen back into his addiction of alcohol. And I get it. Applying yourself can be hard. Life is hard. But if you wake up every day hating yourself and your life, you have to make changes. Lying, cheating, stealing, drinking yourself into oblivion doesn't fix anything. It just destroys you and everyone around you. And it did. His own parents don't want to talk to him. They don't want him in his life, or they don't want him in their life. It's been hard. Now, obviously, I'm sitting here talking about all these bad things, but there was good in this too. There were beautiful moments where we laughed a lot. We were silly, like unsupervised kindergartners, chasing each other throughout the house. You know, he knew how to make me feel better all the time. It's just I didn't realize that he was also intentionally making me feel worse, just to make me feel better. I felt used, ignored, yelled at. I was walking on eggshells all the time. He didn't want to spend time with me unless it was on his terms. Anything I wanted was stupid or uneducational, yet he'd watch violent anger scenes on a loop, play video games for hours, and obsess over World War II documentaries. Lucky me, I got to choose which war movie we watched each night. He demanded every night that we go to bed at 8 p.m. He cringed when I tried to comfort or touch him, but had no problem clutching onto me or poking at me when he wanted the attention. It was always on his terms. And like that, our house became my hell. And while I loved the place that we lived, the community and all that, it never really felt like a home. It was just a place to rest my head until I could escape next. I did whatever I could to get out of that house. The second that the weekend was here, I would take the dogs, we'd go absolutely everywhere, just so that I could stay out. That being said, I neglected a lot of stuff, and I feel terrible about that. I should have shown up in more ways than just being support for somebody. I should have shown up for myself. I should have cleaned. I should have made the house more presentable. But when you're stuck in that hole, sometimes it's hard to climb out of it. That's what depression is. Well, I'm sharing this not because I want pity, but because I know I'm not alone. As I said before, if you felt this too, if you loved someone who hurt you, you deserve a space to heal. You deserve to feel safe, respected, and whole. So, thank you for being here. And I really hope this message, finds you well. And I hope it reminds you that your story matters too. I'll try to keep these little blogs up. It might be messy, but we're moving forward. And you're off to an amazing start.